Hey everybody, and welcome back to Ready Steady Play, where we are doing role-player adventures. So if you were with us last Tuesday, then you know that this is a role-playing adventure game that is a tie-in to the role-player game of dice drafting and character creation. And so this is from the same designer and an additional designer. This is Keith Matechka, who designed Role Player, and also James Ryan, who is new for Role Player Adventures. And this is basically a sort of choose your own adventure, not choose your own adventure, that's wrong, a sort of a narrative-driven, decision-type narrative-driven game that also uses dice as well to resolve combat and skill checks. Hey everybody, thanks for joining me in chat. And yeah, thanks for coming along on a Friday night. This is going to be a fun little stream, I think. And we've got some exciting stuff in store. I've just finished setting up. And this is actually Role Player Adventures with the expansion as well. But I learned, actually, that the expansion, which is comes with this book here, basically it just adds backstory and sort of character development type stuff. And I don't think we're actually going to encounter any of it in this first adventure. So what you get in this box is, from my understanding, 10 adventures that can be played with 1 to 4 players, and plus 1 side quest that you may or may not do. I don't know if we'll have the option to do it. I don't know if you have to discover it. I don't know. But we'll discover it as we move through the game, of course, and we will be using the expansion as well, which allows us to tinker with backstory. So we can come to this screen right here, and we can see my character that I've created for this adventure. So I actually generated this by playing a game of Role Player with Chris last Tuesday, and so as a result of that, here is our Bastia assassin named Bonbon. Bonbon is in fact lawful good, and here we've got a whole bunch of backstory. She's a savage investigator. So Savage was actually the backstory we chose for her in our previous game. And then it actually said that if you're playing solo for the backstory expansion, you should probably pick 2. And it suggested that Savage paired quite well with Investigator. So the thing is, though, if you look down here, these don't actually come into play until Adventure 3. So it looks like we won't be doing anything with this until episode 3, if we get that far. But I've got my little alignment cube here on Lawful Good. And as you can see here, I've got my stats that I've imported from the other game. And I honestly thought we would have better stats. I have looked at some of the pre-generated characters, and it definitely seems like we might be significantly less well off than the other characters. What we have is a few more bits of starting equipment, but our stats seem a bit worse than the pre-generated characters. And additionally, pre-generated characters in solo, they don't start with any XP, but they do get to start with 7 gold. So we start with 2 XP and 1 gold. So this could be a total disaster. I don't know. The other thing I'm a little annoyed about, actually, is that our starting hit points here is 16, and I was just on the cusp. I needed 36 points to get 17 health, and I had 35 points at the end of Role Player. And, you know, when I was setting this up, I realized that I could have played that game in such a way as to make this whole situation, like, a whole lot better. But because Chris and I were playing a proper competitive game of Role Player, this might be a complete disaster. We'll just have to play the game and find out. I don't know what's going to happen. It's going to be fun, one way or another. It's going to be exciting. So, you can see we've got here the whole table set up. This is the first adventure, which is called The Battle at Black Lake. And I'm going to start reading it in a minute, and that's when the spoilers will begin. So if you don't want any spoilers for the game, I'm afraid there's not much way for us to avoid that. Having said that, I actually played this adventure way back when the Kickstarter was live on Kickstarter. I played it on Tabletopia, and I honestly remember almost nothing. So if you're not going to be playing for a while, you'll probably be safe. But I've set up everything over here, and I'll sort of talk through the rules as we play. But basically, what we're going to be doing is we're going to be adventuring around this map. Oh, there's a party token somewhere. Hopefully they'll tell me where we start. And it's a little dwarf and a little human as well here on the party token. There's a little dwarf with an axe, and a human with a bow. And we're off on an adventure. It's exciting times. Except I'm by myself. There's two of them and one of me, and I'm a cat person, so... the other thing is, I seem to have somehow, randomly, this is by no deliberate construction, I've got my 6 cards here, 2 weapons. Oh, Thieves' Tools are is a weapon apparently. Here, you can even see it says weapon on the bottom there. So there you go. We've got 2 weapons, 2 bits of armor, which are leather gloves and a leather pauldron. We've also got a scroll called Levitate, and Climb, which is a skill. And these 4 cards, all the armor and weapons I chose, actually manipulate black and pink dice, which may be good or may be bad. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. But the thing is, I've got 2 decks, which is the ability to acquire 2 black dice, and 1 charisma, which is the ability to acquire 1 purple die. So all of these other stats, I can't manipulate. I mean, that's not true. I can use Climb to manipulate green dice, but I can only actually acquire 1 green die. And like in the instance of Constitution and Wisdom, I was like 1 point off in that game of Role Player, having 2 more in both of these. And I could easily have achieved that in that game without jeopardizing my final score. I say easily. I don't know if I could have easily achieved... Do you know what? Actually... Alright, this is just a quick tangent for those of you who were there for that Role Player scenario, but remember how I blew all my XP needlessly on the boss fight at the end? I could have easily spent that XP to... to have 2 more stamina right now, and I'm really, really worried this character is going to be terrible. I'm really concerned, but we'll have to get started to find out. Anyway, hopefully we won't just get exhausted, and I won't be reading the death track the whole time. So, with that in mind, I don't really know a lot about this world, but let's just crack on. And, oh, I've got 2 event tokens here. One says 1 on it, one says 2 on it. They need to be randomized and put out here and here. So, there we go. I thought I'd do it randomly on stream for you guys. I genuinely don't know which one's which. Okay. So all I've got here, by the way of introduction... Actually, is there an introduction in the rulebook I could read first? Like a story... Ah, here we go. So, we've got here some story and an angry-looking man. Orc. An angry-looking orc. After 1,000 years of peace, Dragul armies raided from the north, prompting you and every other loyal citizen of Nalos to sign up as soldiers of the King's Guard. The armies of Nalos fought long and hard against the North's monstrous generals and their minions, finally stemming the tide of the Dragul invasion. But new threats have arisen that jeopardize all of Ulos. A mysterious cult prepares for the return of an ancient god. The long-abandoned gate at Brizur Wal, a portal between planes, rumbles with new life. Strange rifts appear in the sky, unleashing bizarre creatures into your world. Dragul invaders seeking to exploit this instability to conquer Nalos. As a humble soldier of the King's Guard, you are called away from your regiment on a special mission that will allow you to uncover the secrets of your world. You will discover powerful artifacts and meet members of the cult working to unearth them. You will confront Dragul warriors and discover the motives behind their invasion, and you will encounter strange beings from other planes who threaten to disrupt the very fabric of your universe. Ooh! Well, that sounds like fun. I've also got to put out my faction tokens here as well. I believe we start at 0 favor with each different faction. There we go. Alright. If you're wondering what they say, it's King's Favor, Starlit Door Favor, and Dragool Favor. So I guess we could make friends with the Dragool, which seems really odd, because they just described them as awful things that were attacking our world, but maybe there's more to it. Maybe there's some subtlety in this adventure game that I don't know about. Alright. So I hope you're ready for story time. Here we go. Your adventure begins! As a King's Guard soldier in the regiment of Commander Zalek, a Dark Elf, you have fought a long war. The Dragool, a coalition of northern tribes, invaded Nalos, your homeland. After many battles, you have driven off their hordes, but rumors spread through the camp of a new Dragool plot. One night, you are summoned to Commander Zalek's tent, where you find him arguing over a map with General Grick, an orc. A gold coin marks the southern city of Sebek. A vial of elixir marks a swamp to the west. General Grick raises an eyebrow when you enter. "So you're Zalek's best?" he asks, looking you over skeptically. "We have a special mission for you. But first, a question of strategy. Zalek wants to take your regiment south to investigate a threat to the capital," says Grick, pointing at the coin. Then, pointing to the vial, "I think we should push west and capture a powerful Dragool agent in the swamps. What say you?" Side with Grick, learn more about Dragool plots. Side with Commander Zalek, investigate threats to the capital. Ooh, I could make this decision on my own, or I could ask my moderator, Heggers, to make a poll in chat. Heggers, would you do that? Please? I know you're not paid. In fact, you support me on Patreon. So, but we could have a poll with options Grick and Zalek, maybe? 2 options? Where do we go next? I don't actually know if Heggers is paying attention. But yeah, so this is sort of a dice rolling game where we're gonna have to overcome these challenges, and I've got a big bag of dice here with dice that represent all the different skills. I'm gonna do the poll. But I need to have stamina to get those dice out. I feel like the stamina is super duper important. But the only other time I played this, which was the prototype back during the Tabletopia preview, it was a he says I have no idea how to make a poll. And his internet is lagging out. I'll do it. I will do it. Not to worry. So, but the, I don't know if this will actually make too much of a difference, this choice. But, in any case, what was I talking about? The dice, yeah. So I feel like the stamina might be hugely important. When I played previously, we had 3 players. 3 of us playing the Tabletopia mod, so we kind of had a lot more control over getting the colors we needed, I think. Because the way it kind of works is you spend a stamina into your fatigue here to add a die of that color to your die pool whenever you need to do a check. So I can get a red die by spending a strength stamina. Then it becomes fatigue. If our fatigue ever matches our health here, we suffer a death. In a multiplayer game, you would need everyone to become fatigued, but because this is solo and we've only got 1 character, if we ever have fatigue in here that matches our health, we're just done. But you can also spend like 3 I think, to match, to add one dye of any color, if you want to get a specific color. But I really feel like if I look at the pre-generated characters, I think, are they here? Yeah. Oh, actually, that's not too bad. Some of these were not too bad. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 4, 5. Oh, we're actually bang on the pre-made character stats generally. Oh, they have a lot more cards than us, though. I lied. I got it the wrong way around. Our stats are about average, but we have fewer cards. I really probably should have tried to read the import rules first. Alright, has everyone who wants to vote voted? I'm going to give you 10 more seconds. But the combat and the skill checks work quite similarly, but with a skill check, you just do like sort of one roll, and then you've resolved it, and then you find out whether you succeeded or you failed, basically. But with combat, you sort of do rounds, so there's going to be a monster, which is going to come from this deck of monsters up here. So these are the skill books here, you see, and you need to like meet these sort of criterias with specific dice showing numbers and things like that. They'll tell you to flip to a page of this whenever you do a skill check. Whereas with the monsters here, we're going to have different sort of results that we need in order to defeat them. And if we don't defeat them in the first round, we've got up to 3 rounds or 3 sort of throws to do it. Oh, I really thought... Heggers, is it a... if you have a look at the bottom, Heggers, next to where the custom emoji symbol is, do you see a little button that has some pillars on it? Alright, I'm ending the poll. Maybe I need to up Heggers' moderator powers. I don't know how to do that. So, we got 66% voting for Zalek and Capital Intrigue. So it looks like we're going to begin 2. So y'all like the Dark Elf better, I guess. Okay. You point at the coin. Oh. So there's the beginning you didn't vote for, so no looking at it. You point to the coin, and General Grick pats you on the back with a pity. Well, he says, good luck to you. He collects his vial of elixir and exits the tent. The action instructs you to record the keyword Zalek, yes. So here you're going to see now some other functions on how this works. So this is my party sheet, which would be, of course, important for everyone, but it's just me. So because of the choice we made down here, we're going to put Zalek, the keyword, in here. I think this only actually applies to this particular... I think this only actually applies to this particular adventure, and we erase all the keywords at the end of each adventure. The titles, however, will stick around across the entire campaign. Oh, bummer. I guess Heggers can't make polls. Maybe that's just a... maybe that's just a Twitch thing that moderators can make polls. I thought YouTube allowed it as well. Dear YouTube, I have some feedback for you. But first, Grick wouldn't hear my counsel, says Commander Zalek. And he won't hear yours either, but I'm glad to know I have your trust. As for your mission, leave now and travel due east until you reach a small enemy encampment. A special operative of King Taran will meet you there. Commander Zalek rolls up the map. You can keep the coin, he says. Gain 1 gold. You guys, I could have had an elixir. You make haste under a crescent moon. You make haste under a crescent moon, crossing burnt and abandoned farmland into an open prairie. At the top of a bluff, you look out over a dark lake to a wooden outpost. Place the party marker at location A. So, here we are. We're now on the map. I should have made some extra scenes here so I didn't have to keep dragging this around, so I apologize for that. But here we are at Bourlin Prairie. There's an experience token here. There's experience at all of the 4 locations on this map, and that's going to be important as we learn how the game works. But I'll probably pick that one up in just a minute. So it says here, yeah, so if there's no experience points at this location, read this paragraph. But there is one. So it says, otherwise, collect the experience points from this location and continue reading. So the experience kind of functions as a way of tracking whether or not you've been there before. And of course, it allows you to gain actual experience points as we move around. And experience points is important for more than just unlocking abilities later on, but it actually also enables us to recover more fatigue when we rest as well. So that's important. As you look over the lake, a voice calls from a thicket behind you. Care to join me? You turn to discover a friendly halfling roasting apples and hares by his fire. You look like you could use a meal. You disregard the halfling and he chuckles, and then stands to salute you. Tarek Nowlin, special operative of King Taran, confidant of the immortal night, and bearer of bad news and terrible secrets. Now come, eat and rest. We have hard work ahead of us. As you eat, Taran speaks in a hushed voice. The lake below is dark, for the Dragul filled it with blood and ashes of their dead. Our mission is to secure the outpost. The southern shore is guarded by an encampment of goblins. Weak, but many. Gnolls stand watch to the south. We need to eliminate both camps, so take your pick. You go one way and I'll go the other. Burn down their camp to signal your progress, and I'll do the same. Tarek pulls something from his pack and tosses it to you. We'll need this at the gate. So it says, reveal discovery. So this is something of a tutorial as well. I guess it's giving me some instructions. Although I did read the rulebook, so I do know how to do this. It says, when instructed to reveal a specific discovery card, just go to the discovery deck and find it. Yeah, that's one of these decks of cards I've got up here. Discovery card 65. I think that's actually this massive stack of cards here. Titles. Rare items. Discovery. Here we go. So discovery card 65. So these are all numbered. What do we got here? 45. 92. Alright. Oh, he's gonna... So he did give us an option there as well, didn't he? So, right. So our option is Goblin Camp or Gnoll Camp. So, you guys let me know. Do you enjoy playing this together? Or would you rather I just make these choices and speed along with the game? Let me know, because I'm happy to do either. But in the meantime, here's another poll, so... Which would be a lot quicker if I could have a moderator to help me with it. YouTube. We've created a great character, Difter. Look, Difter, I don't know. We seem to be sort of like average. On average. I'm not too worried. I'm not too worried, but we'll have to wait and see. Okay. So now we've been given this item here, which is a bluestone fireball. Neat. So this is a party item, so this would go into a sort of a collective party inventory, which is by the party sheet here, but I haven't got room for that because I've got player aids there to remind me how I execute all this stuff. So I can, but I'm also on my own, so I can put this anywhere. So this indicates here 65 is actually a number we're going to use to sort of check to see what happens when we use it, and the little cube there indicates this costs a stamina to use. The bluestone fireball. It should be noted that when we use this, what we're going to do is we're just going to take a cube from here and put it into the fatigue pool. So even though it's fatiguing, it doesn't draw from our stats. You know, because there's more ways to get fatigue in here than just your stats. I actually only have 8 points in my stats altogether and 16 health. So if I exhausted all of these, I couldn't actually exhaust myself. I'd just become really, really bad at doing anything, I think. Okie dokie. We have 10 seconds on the vote if you want to have a vote on that. So, we've also got 2 actions we can use at this camp, or sorry, at the Bourlin Prairie before we move on. We can use an item or move to another location. And so if we were to use an item, now, if I remember correctly, what we would do is we'd take this number and we'd look up in the, I think at the back of this book there's a series, nope. So, is it in this book? Yes. It's at the back of this particular encounter, so we can try and use the item here and see what happens. So, actually, I'll tell you what, let's do that just to show you guys how it works. So, if I try to use the bluestone fireball here, oh wait, will I take a fatigue for that, though? I will. So maybe let's not do that, because it'll probably be a waste of fatigue. And our little friend there said to use it at one of the camps to burn it down. So chances are, if we try to set it off here, we'll probably just get a message that says something like, this isn't what you were told to do. Don't do that. Save it for later. Okay. So that's the end of the poll, and we've got a unanimous vote for the Knoll camp. So I guess let's just select a moving on type scenario here. So I got this camera set up to look at the map here, maybe. Can you look at something useful, camera? How's this? There we go. So we're going to head over to the Knoll camp, but we're going to have an encounter first, because we're going to hit up this encounter location here. So now I've got a little section in my book on how to resolve encounters. So and we're going to go to the Tome of Encounters. Well, we're going to flip over the token actually to find out which encounter we have unlocked. So here's the Tome of Encounters. It's this big book here, and let's see where we're going to. Encounter number 1. Adventure 1-1. Okay, so this comes off of the map, and we can put it back in our tray here. You freeze in place when you hear a sound ahead of you on the trail. Quietly creeping into cover, you look ahead and spy a 6-limbed insectoid sentry pacing back and forth across the trail. 2 sets of arms, each hold a short bow with an arrow notched and ready. It seems that you'll have to deal with this sentry if you wish to take the camp by surprise. Okie dokie. And you can see our insectoid sentry here. Although this one I think is holding daggers and swords and stuff instead of the bows as described. But never mind. So we've got 2 options here. Sneak around the sentry. And this is a skill check. Or is it? Yeah, a skill check. Dex Wisdom. Wrestle him to the ground and knock him out. So these are sort of indicating here. I don't know, is it better to zoom in with this? These are sort of indicating here the kind of statistics I'll need to sort of make this check. So you can see it's a Dex and Wisdom at the top, and then Strength and Dex at the bottom, and then it tells me where to go next. So I'm not actually going to do the check right now. I'm just kind of getting some insight into what I'm going to need to do it. So I've got good Dex, and I've got good Strength, so I think we wrestle him, because my Wisdom's only 1. So yeah, I guess let's wrestle him. So it says go to 1-4. You hide behind a tree and wait for the insectoid sentry to approach. Then leap out and attempt to force him to the ground. So now we're doing a skill check, Force 1. So what we're going to have to do here is get our skill book out. Here we go, the first thing to do. So we're going to go to find Force. So there's Concealment, Deception. These are all the different skills we might have to take. So that here we've got Force, and it's got a cool orc on it. I'm going to flip it over because I don't have a lot of room on my table here. But Force 1 means we use the first row. And this says there's a dice limit of 4 on it, but additionally... oh no, yeah, I have a combat dice limit of 3. So the dice limit for this is 4. So we're not going to be able to use more than 4 dice to attempt this check. Okay, that's probably fine. So we have to work together. All players will work together. Nope, it's just me. I'm on my own. Alright, so now I'm going to come over here to my little player aid to remind me on how this works. So you can see here what we're going to do is we're going to go and open the... So we've got the skill book set up and we've applied any modifiers. There weren't any, but I've got this little deck of modifier cards here. And these have keywords on the back that I might have to apply to these to make them behave differently. Okay, so we're going to build the dice pool. So we spend stamina to add dice of specific colors. So now we have to work out how much stamina we want to spend. Each die costs stamina equal to the player count from the attribute. Yeah, so I'm going to spend 1 stamina to add 1 die of a color because I'm 1 player. And then once we've added the dice of our choice of colors, then we're going to build out the rest of the 4 dice pool with random dice from the bag. So that's going to be potentially useless. And then once that's done, we're going to be able to manipulate and place the dice using our items and cards and things like that. And then we're going to resolve it. So we're going to gain the rewards shown on the thing. Plus, then everything else is kind of done. And also note that you can only... So it says here, flip the rest token over. So we've got this rest token. And basically, once we rest, we exhaust, and we can't rest again until we resolve a skill check. So what you can see here basically is that I need a red 2, I need a black 4, and I need a black or red 3. That seems really, really difficult because I have almost nothing that can manipulate the red die. And also, if I... And also, oh god. Also, if I, this seems really, really hard to do. I think we're probably going to fail this. So, the question is, how much do we actually spend? I can add a red die, I could add 2 black die, but that would be a lot of my stamina gone already. But I think if we take the camp by surprise, that would be... like way more that would be like way more let me bring this over here so you guys can see a bit better what's going on. So we're here at this event here where we've encountered the sentry, and there's the skill check that we're trying to do. And so I've got 2 strength and 2 dex, so I could add enough dice to have the exact colors here that I need, although then I'm not going to be even close to the numbers I need. And that's going to be really problematic because I don't want to waste all of this stamina if there's not even a hope of me pulling this off, right? You know? I don't have any... I don't have any way to manipulate these dice, really, because if you see here, these 4 cards... Well, they actually manipulate the black ones. So to be fair, getting this 4 and this 3 may be doable. Getting the 4 and the 3 may be possible. Actually, probably quite doable. But the red 2, like, the odds of that are 1 in 6. And I can't do anything about that, I don't think. I don't think... And I can't change the color of a die. So, if I get the fourth die, if I don't spend these 3, I have to pull a red die, or else I'm... I mean, I might as well spend this one, right? I mean, I could spend all 4. But then whatever happens in the camp, we're just kind of... We've got to hope that it deals with these, right? Ugh. Am I going to, like, half exhaust my character and all my useful things? Then I'd have the 4 dice, and they'd all be in the right color. That'd also improve my odds massively. I mean, to be fair, we could actually bring 2 red ones and a black one. Because we need to... This could be black or red. But, yeah, no, that's no good at all, because we need these black ones to be specific as well. Ugh. This is really, really difficult already. Already I'm actually literally looking in here in the rulebook to see if I understand this correctly. Have I understood this correctly? A matching die. Yeah. Okay. So we need a... Oh, this is what I was looking for. Yeah, we literally need these dice to be exact. I think we just spend all 4, because otherwise what's the point? We'll probably just fail it. I'm going to do it. I'm going to spend all 4, and then I'm going to get into trouble when we get to the camp. I'm just going to have a bunch of random dice when we get to the camp. So we pick out 2 red ones and 2 black ones from the bag. Oh. If I pull 4 at random, I mean, that was 5, but also that would have been a complete disaster. Alright. Oh my god, I think we can do this. I mean, basically we can do this because I rolled this red 2 and this black 4. So I just need to make that 5 into a 3 and then we're good. And we can use the Unholy Flail for that. So what we do is we actually just play it into the discard pile here. And then we can... So the Unholy Flail allows us to increase a black die... Oh, increase a black die by 1 or 2. Damn, I thought it said increase or decrease. Okay, this is fine. We can still do this. No, we can't. We actually, that's actually... What we can do... so we can use we could use the Thieves' Tools to flip the back die up by 1 or down by 1. Of course, we need 2. We could spend 2 decks to return this card to our hand. So we could play this to reduce it by 1, then spend 2 dexterity to put it back into our hand, play it again to reduce it by 1. But, of course, we have no decks. And in order to get 2 decks, we would need to spend 6 stamina, which we don't have. So, what we're going to have to do, I think, is play the leather gloves. So the leather gloves say re-roll a black or a purple die. So I'll put that into the discard. So there are 2 different kinds of cards, by the way. The main different... I mean, there's many there's armor and scrolls. These are 2 different kinds, but fundamentally there's 2 things we're looking at here, which is the top left corner. Levitate has an arrow, and the leather gloves doesn't. So the cards with the arrow are spent when they're used, and the cards with that are without the arrow are just discarded. And so the spent cards are not recovered till the end of the... I think when you rest... I can't remember exactly when you recover spent cards. I'll double check it. But basically, spent cards are... I think they might be removed for the whole thing, actually. For the whole adventure. But the discarded cards are not. They're recovered, I think, at the end of every check, every time they're used. So, anyway, here we go. I've got 2 rerolls to try and get a 3. Actually, or a 4, or a 1. Many of these things would also do. Hey! Well, I just rolled a 3, so... At least we've done it. And as a reward, we receive 2 experience points, because there's 2 blue cubes under the track that we've... So we succeeded, but at what cost? I guess let's find out. We're now half exhausted already, and all we've done is subdue a sentry on our way to the main mission. So we gain the rewards, we return the cards from the discard to the hand, and then the rest tokens reset if it needs to be, and we return to the storybook. Alright, so we made the we've pinned the sentry down. So we go to this next chapter here and find out what happens. You spring from hiding and quickly tackle the insectoid sentry to the ground, disarming him and knocking him out. This bug won't give you any further trouble. You hope that the rogue is having as much luck on his side of the lake. Record the keyword clear. So record clear in here. Tarek is handling his side of the lake. Remove the other encounter token from the adventure map and return it to the box. Oh, so that's kind of cool. We'll never actually see what that was. Which is kind of fun because at least that means there'll be something slightly different for next time. If you decide to play another campaign of this. It's only 10 adventures, so it's a lot shorter, I think. I say I think because I don't know how long each adventure is or if they get significantly longer. Before heading forward to the camp, you take a moment to catch your breath. The crescent moon reflects eerily off the glassy black surface of the water. Okay, so now we actually have an option here to rest. So we're here on our way to the camp. And it might be a good idea to do so. Since this here, we have an opportunity to rest. And we should go and look at resting in the rulebook. So I think, yeah, so when we rest, we can spend 1 or more XP, and then for each XP we spend, we get to roll a die from the bag and recover that much fatigue. And so we can choose where it goes, provided we don't go over our maximum levels. So basically, you know, obviously if I recover any, I can't put them into here because my max is 1 in all of these. So these would just have to go back into here. So I think it's probably a good idea to rest. If we'd used our class ability, this would be face down like that. But, and we could reset it. I haven't actually shown you the assassin class ability. I'll do it in a minute. So we can reset our class ability. Other than that... Oh yeah, if we'd used our bonus play token, which is over here on the campaign map, then we could restore it. This allows you to play more cards. So my current card limit is 4, so that means I can only play 4 cards in a single skill check or round of combat. But I don't have enough cards to really be worried about that, to be honest. I can also, because the leather gloves and the leather pauldron are part of a set, I can actually play both of them for the cost of 1 card. And if I had the leather greaves, I could play all 3 for the cost of 1 card. Yep, that's it. So I think what I'll do is I'll spend 1 experience token and recover some fatigue. I mean, I should get back 3 or 4. And I suspect I'll be doing another combat or skill check before long anyway. So let's go ahead and grab a die here and hope we roll well. There we go. A 3! That was a green die. I was like, why can't I see this die? Because it's green. Okay, so... yeah, so let's... I guess let's take back 2 dex and 1 strength. Yeah, because I can manipulate the dexterity dice, I guess? I don't know. Okay. And now we move to the next location on the path, which is the Knoll Camp. I need to put that back in there. I wonder why they did an encounter book and put all the encounters in here instead of in the adventure book. Because it seems like the encounters are specific to the adventures. Maybe that changes later on, I don't know. Okay, so we've arrived at the Knoll camp. Which is location C. Alright, so now, also if I was playing with other people, I'd be passing this around so everyone has a chance to read. But I'm not. I'm playing with you guys at home. So I can't give you the storybook, so I'll just keep reading it to you. Okay, so it's reminding me that I have to... how keywords work. So the first thing it says to do is pick up the experience point at the location. So I'll add that to my pool over here. And then it says check for a number of keywords. And the first keyword that comes up that's relevant is the word clear, which I have. I've got Zalek and clear over here. So here we go. Three dog-faced creatures huddle around a single campfire. You approach downwind, but smell no roasting meat. A hungry gnoll is a vicious foe, so you approach from behind in the space of their own shadows. Your iron strikes one down, and then another before the last can get to her feet. She snarls at you and pulls a burning branch from the fire, waving it wildly to defend herself. So, combat! Cornered gnoll. Oh, hey, great. That could have possibly gone way worse. So, okay, so we're going to have combat with Gnoll, which is card 21. And cornered is one of these modifier characteristics. So, we'll go in here, we'll find cornered. These should all be alphabetical. They're not. Oh, they are. I just put... yeah. There we go. Cornered Gnoll. At the start of this skill check, or each round of combat, add a random die to the dice pool. This does not count against the dice limit. So, my current dice limit for combat is 3, and that's based on the player count, I think. So, I will get a 4th random die. So, this Gnoll requires 3 dice to kill, a green one, a white one, and a red or blue one. So this might be a good opportunity to use my levitate ability for something useful. And you guys might also see here that there are little rewards under each of the die as well. So we've got, if we don't take out the green die, we're going to suffer wounds. There's 3, that's fatigue, 3 fatigue, but we get an experience point if we take it out. So that's the round tracker down there as we go through the rounds there, and yeah, I'm gonna double check how those work, but here's the combat brief anyway. So there's the play cards. I mean, it's basically the exact same thing, except at the end of combat, you, or end of the round, sorry, there's a round here, because there's 3 rounds of combat, whereas skill checks only have a 1 round. And, yeah, so we'll suffer counterattacks for the uncovered die slots. So basically, we're going to take damage based on what slots we don't uncover, and we'll get experience if we do cover them up. So, covering up the top 2, the white one and the green one, is actually pretty clutch because they're 3 wounds each. This is going to be really hard because I don't really have that many dice of the right color, and I can't really manipulate them either. So I guess I should start this round of combat by throwing as many dice as possible. So I've got some round markers somewhere. They're right here. So this is round 1. And yeah, so I definitely want a green die. So I think we should use a green one. I definitely want a white one, so I think we should do that too. If this white one doesn't come up a 2, I don't know what I'm going to do. I'm basically screwed because I can't manipulate white dice otherwise. And I can't get any more either. So my combat dice limit is 3. So I think we should just add a blue one as well. And take it from there. So let's go into the bag. And actually find the right colors. Ooh. I really feel like this is really tough. I really wish I had better, not better, but more equipment cards here that could help me out. But I will use levitate as well. But we have to first. We get to because she's cornered. We get to add 1 extra random die, which I'm now pulling randomly from the bag, which is green. So that was extremely lucky. Okay. Although the white one's the glitcher, really. The white one's going to kill me. Because if it doesn't come up a 2, I'm screwed. I don't know what I'm going to do. I mean, oh god. I mean, none of these are right. I'm going to get killed. Oh no, wait. One of these greens is a 6. That's perfect. I mean, I guess we use levitate to roll another blue die. So levitate just allows you to take a blue die out the bag and roll it. That's it. Fingers crossed. Blue die, where are you? Alright, here we go. This feels really tenuous. So that's one of my 3 cards that I can play, by the way. It's a 1! Damn it! I can't manipulate this at all. I need stuff to manipulate these. Okay, so this is spent. We'll find out when I get that back in due course, but it goes here into the spent category. So at least I can use climb. And I'm using another one of my spend cards here. So climb allows me to flip over up to 2 dice. So I'm using climb to flip this over to a 1, basically. And now I've got this. And that's it. And nothing else I have allows me to, nothing else I have allows me to modify these dice. So I'm kind of really in trouble here. So I'll put climb over here in the spent space again. Yeah, this ain't good. Oh well. Man, I can't believe I didn't. Well, I mean, I can. I can't believe that didn't go well. I don't have any of the things I need. Ugh. Luckily, we cleared that other thing, or else this would be a real disaster. Okay, so that's the end of round 1. And now the Knoll attacks us for 5-6 fatigue. Oh my god. I actually have some big cubes here, which count as 3. So there we go, 2 big cubes. So now I've got 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 in there. Well, one more hit, and I'm going to be counting up the. I'm going to be counting up the first death paragraph. So. Oh God. Okay. Well, here we go. I've got nothing else to do other than to put these back into the bag and just try again. So I think the only thing that I can do that has any real value to me this round is to spend this red 1 strength here to add a red die, because at least I can use that for this bottom section here. Other than that, there's not really much else I can do. I can spend 3 stamina to play a card from my hand as a copy of a card in my spent space, but the issue with that is, of course, that it will actually now kill me. So I just need to hope that I draw a good number here. Hope that I draw the colors I need. Here we go. So I've grabbed 3 dice, 1 for cornered and 2 to make up the cornered. That's too many dice. I grabbed 4. How did I do that? I need 3. God damn it, those are good colors too. I actually took them off camera, so let me zoom out a bit. Oh, zoom out a bit so you guys can see them. Oh, I have an extra button on here that I could be using. Oh, okay. I'll remember to use that. Here we go. 3 dice. Oh god, please be the right colors. Oh my god. I still only have 1 white die, but I'm not complaining. Oh my god, I'm gonna get killed if that white die doesn't come up too. I wish I had more items, guys. I should have bought more items. I don't want to roll them. Ooh. Oh, no way! Did I do it? No, I haven't done it. Oh, I think we're still dead. Damn it! That's such a bummer. There's no way that's a 2. That's amazing. I think we're still gonna die, though. Because we can play that into here, but we have nothing to cover this up, and that still kills us. Damn it. And there's nothing I can do, I think, to, yeah, there's nothing I can do about that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 10, 11, yeah. I've got... Oh, do you know what? I can take another 3 damage to roll 1 more blue die. But the odds, 1 in 6. I die anyway, though. How bad is dying? How bad is death? Tell me, how bad... This is not right. That's the wrong book. I really didn't think I'd have to look up what happens when we get exhausted during the tutorial. I blame you, chat. If the entire party is ever exhausted at the same time, the story will instruct the players to mark the next box on the death track and read the corresponding death entry in the Tomb of Encounters. So what we'll have to do is we'll have to mark this off and go to the tomb. Mark this off here and go to the Tomb of Encounters and read whatever it says. Alright, well, I mean... I mean, yeah, there's no reason not to roll this die, because if we don't roll it and get a 2, then the knoll's going to deal 3 damage to us, which is going to exhaust us anyway. I mean, I don't know, maybe it says somewhere that, so here's 3 anyway. Now that's 9, 10, 14 we've got. maybe it says somewhere that... well, maybe it says... I don't know what it's going to say for death. It might say, come back and pick up where you left off, and then that would be bad, but... Anyway, I might as well just reroll one of these, because I can't do anything with them, because they're not the right number. But what I'm doing is I'm basically using my assassin ability here, which says, add 3 stamina to your fatigue box from the supply. Play a card from your hand as a copy of a card in your spent space. So I haven't played any cards this round. I'm just going to play the Leather Pauldron. It doesn't really matter which of these I play, because I pick them all back up at the end anyway. And they're all useless during this fight. And then I'm going to play it as a copy of Levitate, which lets me draw a blue die and roll it and add it to the pool. Except I'll just reroll this one, because I can't alter its face in any other way. Good. Oh, God. 2, please. Nope. It was a long shot. But, you know. Anyway. Okie dokie, so I'll grab another round token here. I'll plop it down here, which I take a wound and then 2 more wounds. So I'm on 14, so I'll take, or I say wounds, I mean fatigue damage. So there we go. Now I'm on 16 fatigue. My second ever combat of the game. My first ever combat of the game, and I'm dead. Cool. Please be gentle to me, game book, encounter book. Where's death? How do I find death in here? Here we go, death 1. And I'll just mark this off here. 1 of 10 deaths. You sit down to rest, and your vision becomes distorted, as if a rippling curtain of fog were passing between you and the world. When the fog lifts, you find yourself in a stone hallway, cold and dark. An old woman approaches you from the darkness, wearing a black hood that obscures her face. Her voice is warm and kind. "It's good to see you resting," she says. "Asima's world is full of struggle, and his soul grows weary." She finds a smooth flagstone and sits down beside you. "Oh dear," she complains. "This floor never gets any softer. But look, I've come to give you something." She extends a bony hand from the sleeve of her cloak, and revealing a bag of glass marbles. Each marble contains a small, compressed creature, looking angry and uncomfortable. You reach in and grab one. Reveal rare card number 7. You are bad. This will help. Fiend of Confinement. Okay, so that's plus 3 red dice, but I believe that once it's used, it's gone forever. That's what the X means. Record the keyword passage. Roll 1 die, then remove all XP from the party journal that exceeds the die result. Oh god. That's a bummer. There goes the 2 XP I actually got to keep for succeeding at our... If I go into this one here, yeah, you still got the music. This is going to remove all the XP I actually got from one of the few benefits from my role player performance. No, I rolled a 6. I'm good. Ha! Got away with that. Each player roll 1 die, then remove all stamina from your fatigue box that exceeds the roll result. Okay. Another 6, please. I'm rolling that same red die because that was a good one. Actually, no, I want a low number here, so actually that's good. That 2 is good. Good. I'm getting lucky. I need this. Well, I would have preferred to get lucky on that blue die roll, but never mind. Okay, so we're left with 2 fatigue. Remove all bonus play tokens from your fatigue box and return them to the party journal. Right, well I haven't used any bonus play. It's still there, so that's fine. Fill your attributes rows up to their attribute limit. Okay. Return all spent cards to your hand. Wow. Being very nice to me this game right now. Right, the Fiend of Confinement can live over there. He's almost too useful. Flip your Kill-Ass ability card face up. I actually forgot to flip it face down. If you've just completed an encounter, move to the next location on your path. If your party marker is already at a location on the adventure map, read the base entry for that location instead. Okay, interesting. So we're going to read the base entry for our location, which is going to be different now because I've already picked up the experience points that were there. So I guess we're not going to have any rewards for killing this gnoll, but I think we probably got off quite lucky there, actually. I'm going to leave that out just in case I need it, but I don't think I'm going to need that. Yeah, so it says if there's no XP at this location, then yeah, I guess whatever would have happened when we defeated the gnoll, whatever we would have got for that, either keywords or benefits or rewards, are just gone. So the pauldron comes back as well, because at the end of all combat and at the end of skill checks, you always recover anything that's not spent. So spent cards are left spent until I think you rest or something instructs you to recover them. Whereas these ones, they are just used and then returned after each sort of check. So now I've got three options. Use an item, rest, or move to another location. Man, I'm really gutted that we didn't get to find out what happens when we kill that gnoll. That's infuriating. But anyway, I guess we got off lightly. We'll see what happens. So, it says here, burnt tents are all that remain of the gnoll encampment. So we can use an item, rest, or move to another location. So we basically burnt down the camp. So, I don't really need to rest again. So I'll just leave that. Let's use an item. We'll use item 65, which is the bluestone fireball to let the little guy know that we've done the thing. So there's a fatigue for that. You examine the bluestone fireball in the darkness of the burnt gnoll encampment. Oh, hang on, let's go over here actually. Sort out the focus on this camera a little bit. It doesn't get any better. That's it. To uncork this bottle would release a great explosion, which would be of no value here. Oh. Use another item, rest, move to another location. Oh, I definitely thought that we, wasn't that what we were supposed to do? I forgot what we were supposed to do. I guess I should have paid more attention. So do we just... Well, our only other option is to rest or move on. So I guess we move on then. Yeah, I guess we just move on to the outpost wall. Am I supposed to use it here? If you have the keyword open something, if there's no XP, something else. Otherwise, collect the XP and read what happens next. So I've got the XP. You approach the fortified outpost as the moon sets, leaving you in utter darkness. Behind you, twin fires burn on either side of the shimmering black lake. You feel your way across the rough wood of the outpost's massive gate, but can find no handle or latch. Yet the gate holds firm. It must be barred from within. Behind this wall, the Dragool are protecting a powerful artifact. Tarek the Nowlin, the halfling, is nowhere in sight. Alright, let's try the fireball here then. Am I supposed to use the fireball here? No, that's... Okay. So I take another fatigue. We try again. You uncork the bluestone fireball at the base of the fortified gate and run for cover. A thunderous explosion tears a wide flaming hole in the wall, giving you passage through. So now we get to record the keyword open to show, I guess, that we did that. Reveal discovery card 16 and place 1 XP on it. Alright, so I guess I'm done with my knoll and my cornered cards, so these can go back where they belong. For now. I feel like maybe you should be able to spend XP points to reroll dice or something. Like, I feel like I should have more methods to manipulate the dice. Maybe that'll come later. I don't know. Or maybe I'm expected to lose some of these things. I can't believe I just got moited, though. At least I took way too much damage, so the 17 health wouldn't have made a difference. Right, discovery card 16. And also, return discovery card 65 to the deck. Oh, yeah. Alright, the bluestone fireball. I've used it. It's gone. But in its place, whatever this is. Oh god, don't drop the cards. Don't drop the cards. Look, there's a little stop on the back. Stop! Don't look at these! The story, you're gonna spoil the story. Alright, so what have we found? I think this is probably just gonna be the same encampment, but with the door open. Yeah, okay. So now there's a new location. Location E. This goes like this. So we're actually at the outpost wall, right? Which I should have read properly, because I thought that just said outpost. But it actually does say outpost wall. And if I'd read that, I probably would have known to use the fireball there. So now we have the option to rest, or to move to another location. Well, really we've just got two options here. Either we go to the outpost interior... But I think we should go to the goblin camp and look for the halfling, because there's an experience point there that I want. So, I think rather than go in and then have to backtrack all the way there, I think, yeah, I'm just gonna go and check what happened to Tarek, or I don't know, because what if he's like, what if he's a bad guy? What if I go back there, and then... I mean, he's not a bad guy. Is he a bad guy? Would the game do something like that? Am I trying to be too clever during the tutorial? I died already. I died. I like this. This is very ether fields. I'm gonna go up here and see what happens. Goblin camp. Was I ever instructed to take the... Am I gonna have to fight a goblin now? Was I ever instructed to take the experience point off of this? To take the, I don't know. It never actually said anywhere, like, remove the experience point from the goblin camp or anything, did it? In the things that I've done, I mean. It just feels a bit peculiar that, yeah, I didn't say anywhere remove the experience points from another location. So, I guess, yeah. Alright, well, let's see what happens. It does actually reference the keyword clear here as well. It also mentions something if you have the keyword null, which I don't have, even though I went to the null camp. So possibly... Possibly, because I died, I can actually now do the goblin camp. Which I don't know if I want to do. But I'm here now, so I guess we're doing it. It says collect the experience point. And then, if you have the keyword clear, continue reading. Seems a bit odd. I wonder if I should go to the... No, I don't have the keyword null. The light of several small campfires flickers through a chaotic grouping of boar-hide tents. Short, long... Oh, wait, should I have read defeat? Oh, I should have read defeat when at the null thing. Because I was defeated, right? I was just also exhausted. Ugh, I'm such a dumbass. Yeah, it says defeat. You have to set fire to the camp and escape. And also read section C4. So I guess I should have read this. I just got confused because defeat also meant exhaustion. So I'm going to pop that back over there and read C4. Because I guess I was technically defeated, so I missed this passage. The gnolls overpower you, so you grab a burning branch from their campfire, setting the tents ablaze while you flee into the darkness. To your surprise, they make no effort to pursue you and have no interest in putting out the fires. Instead, they gather their meager belongings and head north, back to their homeland. It seems they've had enough of this war. By the light of the burning camp, you find something they left behind. Reveal Discovery Card 86 and record the keyword Knoll. Another fire rises from across the lake. You trust that Tarek is making good progress and will meet you at the fortified gate ahead. If the entire party is exhausted, mark the death track and read the corresponding entry in the Tomb of Encounters. Okay. So I jumped the gun a little bit there. So I'm going to write Knoll in here. I'm going to get card 86 as well. I guess you should resolve whatever you've got going on before moving on then. It's a good lesson to learn. Lodestone Pendant. I have no idea what this does. I'll put it over here with my Fiend of Confinement. So, yeah, so then, I guess, we used the thing, we moved on. So now read the proper entry for Goblin Encampment. So we collect the XP from the location. That's still the same. Then it says, go to this section if you have the keyword Knoll, which I now have. Ashes are all that remain of the Goblin Encampment, which makes sense because Tarek burnt it down, which we saw just now. Ashes are all that remain of the Goblin Encampment. There are no tracks, no bodies, and no stains of blood on the earth. No trace of battle remains, not even any evidence of Tarek's approach or exit. Sorry, I'm just having a brain fart here. Bear with me 2 seconds, folks. Sorry to mess this up so bad. Right, this is fine. A few crude spearheads are the only sign that the goblins ever camped here. If you didn't know any better, You would have guessed that this was the site of some long-forgotten goblin village, founded ages ago when Nalos and the Dragul lived in harmony. It's as if Tarek blasted the poor creatures into ancient history. He's a more formidable operative than you had supposed. A light breeze shifts the ashes, revealing something Tarek overlooked. Reveal discovery card 95. And then use an item rest or move to another location. 95? Alright, he's a formidable operative that missed something. Ugh. Ancient key. If you have the ancient key, then you can open the gate without blowing it up and setting off an alarm. That's fine. I've got an ancient key. I probably could use that. So I moved to another location, which is the Outpost wall. Which I suspect is going to be just... so if you have the keyword open, you stand in the smoldering hole that you blasted in the fortified gate. So my option is to rest or move to another location. What happens if I use the lodestone pendant? You press the lodestone pendant against the gate, but there's no response. The gate is made of wood, not metal. I mean, I didn't have any thought that that would have it. What if I use the lodestone pendant with the ancient key? You press the lodestone pendant and the ancient key against the gate, hoping they will magically give you passage, but the gate does not move. I mean, I guess this was supposed to be before you tried to blow it up. Difter, good job on chat there. Oh, sorry, Difter, Haggers and Difter. Thank you for watching the chat for me. Okay, so I guess we're moving on into the Outpost interior. Here we go. Ba-ba-ba-bum. If you have the title Revealer of Secrets, I don't have any of these titles. Collect the XP. Oh, there should be an XP there. I guess I put out an XP when a new location comes in, so I shall collect it. You pass through the smoldering hole and enter the Dragul Outpost. Its massive wooden walls are solid but roughly constructed. They enclose an open space, empty except for a single chest of white metal and a grey-skinned ogre who stands before it with an iron club. The ogre shouts in the Dragul language. It's gibberish to you. As if he were making all the sounds but none of the sense of Nalos Common. Between his angry cries, he smashes the metal chest with such force that it shakes the ground around you, but the chest only rings out a remarkably pleasant tone. It remains unbroken, undented, and firmly in place. Enraged, the ogre approaches you, shouting and swinging his club wildly. As you watch his outbursts, you catch a glimpse of something moving in the shadows behind him. Tarek Nowlin, blade drawn, carefully approaches the ogre from the other side of the outpost. Okay, so apparently my choices here will affect my standings with different factions. Oh, sorry. As we see here, so these are going to be impacted by what I choose to do here, which is fine, I guess. So I've got two options. Attack the ogre, or try to understand what he's saying. Which is an intelligence wisdom check. I mean, I'm fully rested, and I have levitate, which allows me to gain an additional intelligence die. So I guess I'll try to understand what he's saying. I'm also a big fan of diplomacy. I wish I'd bought the diplomacy card, but never mind. As Tarek creeps closer, you try to understand what the ogre is saying. Dragul and Nalos Common are not completely divorced. 1,000 years ago, when all of Ulos lived in peace, the two languages were a single tongue. But after all these centuries of separation, it's no simple task for you to comprehend the ogre's angry rants. Skill check, interpretation 1. That's fine. I can do this. I've got this. Interpretation is my middle name. Bonbon Interpretation. Oh, this is not so bad. So these are actually uncolored. I think. They're not white, right? Are they? Is that white or gray? I think that's gray. Where's white then? What does white look like? Did I make this harder than it needed to be earlier? Or is that actually... That's gray, right? No, there's no such thing as gray or no color required. If it can be any color, it would show all colors. So I need a white 2, a blue 4, and either a white or blue 3. Why are these are so hard? Okay. So I guess I spend my intelligence and my wisdom. And you know, I don't really see myself doing much of anything else in this particular adventure. The dice limit is 4. Now, what am I on? 10 here? 4 here? I can't manipulate any of these dice, so I'm basically just rolling and praying. So I guess I'll spend 3 more to add another white die, right? So there's 1 white, there's 1 blue. I can add another white die. And then, I don't know, maybe I just completely fatigue myself to add another die, right? Am I going to have to... If I negotiate successfully with this guy, is that it? Right? So there's 1 white, 1 blue, and then that's going to be 12 fatigue, so I'm going to be damn near dead again, but I just really don't want to fail. Because the thing is, I can add another blue die using levitate. I just gotta hope that if I fail this skill check that Tarek will murder the ogre and I won't have any more problems. Do we think Tarek's going to jump out and murder the ogre? Or if I fail this, is it going to be like, the angry ogre charges you? And then I'm just going to have to throw random handfuls of dice. Do you know, I can't really do much worse than dying. And thanks to Lukasz there. Hi, in Poland. Thank you for clarifying. He says he's finished books A and B. Good stuff. There's no gray. It's white. I know, I was being optimistic. Yeah, I think I'm just going to spend everything to create 1 Uber dice pool and then cross my fingers and pray that I don't have to do another check. Because this feels like the end anyway. So, here we go. 4 dice limit. Let's hope for some good numbers. Come on. Come on! Oh. Oh. Nope. Nope. We failed. Damn it! This is so hard. I've got the 2, but that's it. Damn it. I'm so bummed out. What am I good at? What am I good at? Okay, well, there's no point adding another blue die because, I mean, do I still get the rewards? I do. So I might as well use levitate to throw a blue die, just because if I get a 4, at least I get 1 more experience point. But it doesn't really matter much. I really need more cards to manipulate things. I didn't even get... I got the 3, which is pointless. Because... yeah. How much am I on? There's 4, 5, 6... I said 12, right? Yes, it's 12. Oh my god. Okay, I'm going to use my assassin ability to use levitate again and see if I can roll the 4. And now I'm on 1 fatigue. If I take 1 fatigue, I'm dead for a second time in the tutorial. Oh god, this is such a gamble. I blame you, chat. This is your fault. I'm flipping this over. Damn it! God, that's so upsetting. Lukash says, I think playing with 2 characters would help a lot. Yeah, you're probably right, bud. Like, this is really hard. Okay, so we get an experience point, but we've failed to do our mission. Alright, I guess I'll just read Sad, Tragic Defeat and hope that we don't have to take another damage or something. Oh god, he grows frustrated with you and attacks. Oh, I'm boned. The ogre grows impatient with your failed efforts to understand him. He swings his iron club wildly and races towards you. Combat, card 52. Oh dear. Tarek! You were supposed to help me, Tarek! I'm just going to be throwing handfuls of random dice. If I take one... I've got to kill him immediately or I'm dead again. Oh my god. He's not going to be easier than the Knoll either. This is so bad. Quick, use the ancient key! Or the lodestone rock. I really thought that if I failed, Tarek would just come and kill him and he'd be like, you failed to talk to the guy and missed out on some thing. I didn't realize I'd have to... Look, Tarek was right there! It said it was sneaking up on him! I thought it'd help. Oh, God. Oh, no. Oh, I'm dead again. Oh my god. Okay. I don't even have 4 dice, so I can't even kill him. So I'm definitely dead again. Oh wait, I could add 3 red dice to this. Using my Fiend of Confinement. I don't think it's worth it. Because, well, let's see what I draw out the bag. Oh my god, I can't believe I'm going to die twice on the tutorial. Well, yeah, there's no point in adding additional red dice to that pull. Well, remember to read the defeat passage first. Oh my god. Poor Bonbon, she's really taking a beating. I feel bad for her. I'm sorry. I'll try better. I need better frickin' cards, and none of my cards are used. These two... Actually, I did use that, didn't I? Did I? No, I don't know if I used those two. Anyway. None of these are useful. That was a 2, I think. It doesn't actually matter. I can't manipulate any of these dice. These are all my worst colors. I can do purple and black and that's it. Actually, no, that's not true. I can do green. I can turn 1s into 6s. Lukash says you need a second character. I don't want to two-hand it though, Lukash. And it says 1 on the box. It says I can do it with 1. Anyway, I'm defeated. So, he thrashes you. Yep, he does it that. I'm a poor squishy assassin, not a... I should be better at this if I'm an assassin. The ogre pummels you mercilessly while you do your best to preserve your life. Luckily for you, the creature is distracted by his rage and does not sense the approaching halfling who stabs him in the back of the neck. Well, says Tarek, that's one way to distract him. Reveal title card 3. And then I guess we'll head over to passage... Yeah, so by the way, the reason I died there is because I took 3, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 14 points of fatigue. Rogue's Accomplice. At Blackmoor, your mission with Tarek Nowlin ended with the death of an ogre. This battle will not be forgotten, neither by the halfling nor by the ogre's ghost. No. So then we get plus, so then we adjust favor. We get +1 King's favor and -1 Dragool favor, which makes sense. And then it gives us a bunch of keywords, but I think I have to go and read the, a bunch of options here. But I think I have to go and read the exhaustion thing. Do I interrupt right in the middle of resolving a chain like this with the every time I die? I think I probably do. I'm just gonna double check for you guys because I don't want to do it incorrectly. Yeah, it doesn't say anything. So, I presume that I now go on to death number 2. Yeah. Thanks, Lukash. Have fun. You return through a veil of fog to a familiar hallway, cold and dark. The old woman approaches you once again from the darkness with her bag of marbles. Back again already? She asks. Oh dear. The woman pulls back her hood, revealing grey hair and a wizened face. Her eyes are empty sockets, black and bottomless. You recognize her from legend. She is Kethra, goddess of gates and thresholds. I fear you may not be long for Azima's world, she tells you. But her world desperately needs its heroes. I cannot let you pass just yet. Kethra pulls another marble from her bag and hands it to you. The creature inside is uncomfortably cramped, as if it has somehow tied its own limbs in knots. These aren't easy to catch, you know. Use them wisely. Fog rises around you, and the woman fades from view. Oh dear. I'm getting sassed by the gate. Alright, so we have 1 death per adventure, and now we've used 2. So I have to try and get through... And actually, if we do the side quest, we have less than 1 death per adventure. And now we've got the Fiend of Ineptitude. Oh, come on! Really? Add 3 dice. I think that's just random dice, though, not... I don't get to choose. God damn it. If you have the keyword passage, increase your combat dice limit by 1. I mean, I feel almost like this would be a lot easier with 2 as well. Hey, Demetrius! Thanks for joining in. Yeah, another... I mean, this one, I think this one's going to be shorter than your average Legacy game. Oh, that's my bonus play limit, not my combat dice limit. I am, in fact, improving the combat dice limit, which is up here. So it goes up from 3 to 4, which is good, actually, because I think 3 was too few. I feel like 3 was way too few. For, like, 1 player, I feel like you should have more than that. Just going to make sure I did it correctly, and then I set it up. Because honestly, that feels like way too few. Yeah, combat dice limit is 3, no matter your player count. So, there you go. Recover. Roll 1 die, and then remove... Oh, I'm going to lose all my experience points. That's a bummer. I need that to level up and get better. Oh god, I'm losing 4 of them. What? That's so upsetting. And it could have been much worse. Okay, so we're going to roll again. 6. So I actually keep 6 stamina this time, which also kind of keep 6 fatigue, which also kind of sucks. And then these are all recovered, but I don't think this is going to matter because I'm pretty sure the adventure's over anyway, unless we have to fight Tarek for some reason. Although I think he's probably quite happy with us. It says record the keyword passage, which I already have recorded. Get my cards back, recover everything else. Yep, so I just go back to the base entry for my location. Again, once again. Back to the base entry. So, the ogre's dead body lies near the closed Durgolium chest. Tarek waits nearby, consulting some papers, which he tucks away as he greets you. So, I mean, I might as well try using the key, right? E9. So I go to E95. You insert the ancient key into the chest. It fits the lock but will not turn. There must be some other mechanism at work. Okay, so combine the key with the weird rock and then make it open. You press the lodestone pendant to the pear-shaped indentation on the chest and insert the ancient key. Right, nobody told me there was an indentation. I'm just saying. I feel like I should have noticed that. There's a click of mechanisms within which allow you to turn the key. The chest pops open. As the chest pops open, the earth quakes and the sky crackles with strange purple energy. For a moment, you hear the screech of bats and you smell a briny sea. Tarek holds forth a chainmail sack of the same white metal as the chest. Quickly, grab the object and place it in here! You reach inside the chest and pull forth a plain glass jar of translucent grey material. Strange, colourful images pass through the material as if it were displaying the dreams of another world. You place this curiosity in Tarek's Durgolium sack. Immediately, earth and sky are still. A fine discovery, Tarek says, admiring the jar through the chainmail links. I've only seen one other like it. Then he pauses to consider you for a moment. Reveal title card number 2. Revealer of Secrets. Oh, there's more. In the Dragul Outpost, you unlocked a Durgolium chest and took possession of a jar of translucent material. What secrets does this strange substance hold? Indeed. If your king's favor is 1 or higher, go to E19. Well, it is, because I got 1 favor for helping Tarek kill that ogre, even though I died. Tarek smiles and hands you the Durgolium sack. Hang on to this, he says. But use it wisely. If you slip that jar out of its sack, even for a moment, you'll unleash a wave of interplanar power. Reveal rare card 55. Someone will get this card. Well, it's me. I'm having it, because I'm the only one here. What does it do? Please tell me it allows me to manipulate dice. So you spend it to add 1 die of pull a random die out the bag and roll it and add it to your pool. Well, at least it's a spend and not a... I'm going to need way more of these cards if I'm going to come anywhere near successfully finishing this. Tarek pulls several empty Durgolium chainmail sacks from his pack and hands them to you. Consider yourself recruited to the cause, he says. There are Durgolium vaults hidden all over Nalos, each holding an ancient object of great power. We cannot let them fall into the wrong hands. By the king's orders, we must gather as many as we can, and with haste. Alright, so I have 2 options here. Rest or move to another location. There are no other locations, though. I don't really need to rest. What do I do now? I don't know what to do now. Did it tell me at some point to put the, Okay, well, we have to... Yeah, but where do I go now? Do I just go back to the, The outpost wall? Alright, I'm heading back to the outpost wall. There's nothing for me to do here. It just says, you stand in the smoldering hole that you blasted in the fortified gate. Rest or move to another location. What happens if I go back to the outpost interior, then? If you have Revealer of Secrets, go to E18. I do have Revealer of Secrets. I just got it. The open Durgolium chest sits alone in the outpost. Tarek is gone. Was I supposed to reveal some other card somewhere that I didn't reveal? I don't understand. Have I missed something because I died again? So, wait, he's gone. And I'm just kind of stood here. Like, what do I do now? I'm so sorry, everyone. I don't know what to do. I mean, I could just sort of jump ahead, but I don't know how to... Reveal rare card 55. I did that. And then he gave me the chat, and now it just says rest or move to another location. I mean, there's a bunch of options here, including some that end the adventure, but I don't know how to get to them. If I rest, my only options here are rest and move to another... This is infuriating, I'm so sorry. I really don't know what to do here. I've only got these two options. And I don't know which ending, if any, I should be reading. How has this happened? Alright, so I've got Rogue's Accomplice and Revealer of Secrets, but we went to E18, which was the chest, which I then opened, and that let us go to E16. Oh, I read the wrong bit. Did I? Yes. No, I didn't. Yeah, because if your thing is 1 or higher, go to E19. Yeah, and then I went to E19 and I read that. And then now all I've got are these two options here. Does anyone know if there's a misprint in this book? Basically, I need something that instructs me to go to the end of the adventure, which I think is, nope, there's actually a whole bunch of different endings, so I can't just skip it. To the end, I mean. I'm sorry, I genuinely don't know what I'm going to do. I'm going to have to, very quickly have a look and see if, if there's a misprint in this book. I don't want to read all the different endings. That wouldn't be in the spirit of the thing, would it? Has anyone else had a bad time getting... Ooh, this is an 8.4? Not a lot of ratings, though. But the ratings that it has got are positive. Interesting. People say currently that no one's voted on what are the best players. The rules? Has anyone had a hard time getting past the first adventure? I don't see anything that's relevant here. Can't get to the end of the first adventure. What do I do? What have I missed? Why am I stuck? Can I use the... Wait, can I use the gray map? No, this is a rare card 55. I can't use this because it's not an item card, right? It doesn't have a number. Oh! Jean... Oh, was there something about... Is this because I skipped over the end text of when I killed the Tog? I really don't know when to trigger death when you die, right? No, all it said was... Oh, it said go to E7. And then it says go to E15. But I don't understand. This is where I get confused, you see, because... so this was the... I was on the E7 track here. And then I got down to here. I got down to here where I adjusted my favor points because I killed the thing. And then I've got all of these actions that move me on to another chapter based on the keywords I have. And so I thought, well, I will adjust the death here. And then as part of the death, it says go back to the base passage. So I don't know when I should actually trigger death. Because this is after he's killed me, right? Like, basically, I did E11, and then that's got the combat with victory and defeat. And I did the defeat because I was defeated, which says go to E7. But then E7 doesn't actually have a you're dead step, right? So it's like, when do I actually resolve the you're dead? I suspect, possibly I was meant to do it here, and then read all of this. I mean, it says here, the ogre pummels you mercilessly while you do your best to preserve your life. And fail and die. That was what happened to me. So then I actually should have gone to E15 there. E15 says, now that the outpost is calm, Tarek relaxes on a tree stump and carves slices from an apple. Allow me to compliment you, he says, on your stealthy approach to the Knoll camp. I heard no sound at all from your side of the lake. Not until I heard the Knolls screaming to their gods for mercy. Well done. I ambushed them successfully and then got beaten to death. Go to E21. Okay, here we go. Tarek points... So then it says E21, which is this end paragraph here. Tarek points to the metal chest with an apple wedge. That's all that's left for me, he says, is to figure out what's locked inside. Upon closer inspection, you discover the white metal of the chest to be durgolium, an ancient alloy forged to contain objects from other planes. No force will crack it. Its lid must yield to some other secret. You find a pear-shaped indentation above its keyhole. Okay, so I did know about the indentation. I should have. Tarek notices your interest in the chest. You can return to your regiment now if you like, or you can stay and help me open it. Right, adventure complete. From now on, when the choice indicator gives you the opportunity to move another location, you may instead turn to the final section of the storybook. If your entire party is exhausted, mark the death track and read the corresponding entry in the Tome of Encounters. Okay, so literally every time I get exhausted, I have to keep going until I get to a prompt like this, I guess, and then resolve that, and then go back to follow the instructions. Okay, so that's why I'm getting confused, because I thought... I didn't realize that there would be literally a calling out for "Are you dead?" like check interspersed throughout all the text. Okay, right. So then here's the use the item section. So of course, like stay, I use an item. And then that and it says here that if locations don't have XP left on them, then you don't need to revisit them. So any ones without XP you don't need to visit, but ones with XP might still have some kind of pertinence. Okay. So I guess we've done everything here, so we might as well just skip to the end. Your mission at Black Lake has ended, and Tarek Nowlin wishes you Godspeed as you return to your regiment. My own mission takes me elsewhere, he tells you, but I have a feeling we will meet again. As you travel back, you have time to collect your thoughts and puzzle things over. Rogue's Accomplice. And now I get a little bit of bonus text based on which of these cards I have here, the title cards. So I've got Rogue's Accomplice and I've got Revealer of Secrets. The slack face and limp body of the slain ogre appear in your mind. You've put an end to many Dragul invaders during this long war, but for some reason this ogre's death left an impression. Of all the Dragul that you've killed, he was the only one who ever tried to communicate with you. You find yourself wondering what you might have learned from him if he'd lived. You wonder about the power of the jar that was hidden in the Durgolium chest. How could such a small object shake the earth and rend the sky? Strange images float through the material inside it. The jar must be an illusion, or else from another plane, for nothing like these images exists anywhere in Ulos. If you have the keyword Zalek, go to End 1. I do. Upon your return, you find your regiment preparing to march. Orders to move west, a soldier tells you. To the swamps. You report to Commander Zalek, who greets you somberly. They're off on a fool's errand. They're off on a fool's errand, and another, I'm afraid. He hands you a letter from King Taran. It seems the king's hometown has been attacked by a giant troll, and he wants someone to bring him its head. That someone will be you, says Zalek. I'm still concerned about cult activity in the capital, so I'll wait for you there. Zalek nods and bids you farewell. You head towards the coast. After a 2-day march, you can smell brine in the air and hear the call of gulls. Soon you will arrive in the halfling town of Jolev, where you must fetch the head of a troll for your king. If you do not have the title something or other, go to End 3. But I do. Each player may now advance their character, clean up the adventure, and save your characters. Okay. So that's the end of that. I mean, that was really interesting. Like, that was quite a promising start. It's definitely, like, way harder with one character, though. Because, like, when there was 3 of us, we had to... I mean, this cost doesn't really change per player, but these cards change massively. Like, each pre-made character has, like, a bunch of cards, you know, like, 8 cards. Each pre-made character comes with 8 cards, and we had 3 pre-made characters. So we had 24 cards to manipulate the dice. I've got 6. Now I've got 7. So, that feels a bit like an oversight. Because it just felt like, you know, there's just no way I'm going to pass any of these checks without these cards. You know, you've got to be able to manipulate the dice. Or else spend the statistics, you know? And the costs of these does change. So, if you want to add a die of a specific color with multiple players, what you have to do is you have to spend 2 stamina from each stat. So, you know, if there's 2 of us and we want to add a red die, I can either spend 2 strength stamina with Bonbon, or me and the other player can each spend 1, or they can spend the 2 themselves. So it's any combination, so long as you make up the number. And that seems like a way better chance, because then we can kind of pick who has the most fatigue and stuff like that. So I thought, actually, that it wouldn't scale up well with additional players, but now I'm thinking it might actually need additional players. Because I figured, you know, like, it makes sense, right, to spend 1 to add 1 die. And when you scale up, you just spend more. So, but, you know, these cards are so important, and I've got so few of them. I'm just going to check the text for exhaustion in the rulebook as well, because obviously I had to... Yeah, when the amount of stamina in a player's fatigue box is equal to their current health, they immediately become exhausted. Any more stamina that would be added is ignored until they are revived. When the amount of stamina and exhausted... Yeah. If the entire party is ever exhausted at the same time, the storybook will instruct the players to mark the next box on the death track and read the corresponding death entry. See, that's very confusing. Because it really needs to say, continue to read the storybook until it instructs you to mark the death entry and read the Tomb of Encounters. I mean, it does say the storybook will instruct you to mark the next box. But I assume that just meant somewhere in the storybook it says, do the death thing, right? Speaking of which, I forgot to mark off death number 2 there. Right, so now we can advance the character. I wonder how this works. But, yeah, I mean, that was really hard. And it was kind of interesting. I mean... So this was, I remember doing this before, actually. Doing this adventure. I mean, it sort of comes back to me now. I think things worked out quite differently this playthrough than the last playthrough that I had with it, yeah, I mean, this was interesting, but a lot harder, and a lot, like, yeah, a lot less sort of options. Advancement. Prepare the market. Shuffle each of the 5 market decks. Alright, so here's what we're going to do. We're going to put this stuff away. Do I clean up these cards? I guess I'm done with these item discovery cards, right? I think that you put them away at the end of an adventure. Save the game. Return all map cards and item cards to the discovery deck. Yeah. Yep. That's fine. So just need to know that I can put these away so that I can get out these market cards. But the thing is, I don't have any money. I'm supposed to have 7, and I've got 2. So I'm not even going to be able... And I lost all my experience. So I'm really not going to be able to advance much either. So this isn't really going to help me in the next one. Yeah. So that's a bit tough, actually. But, yeah. I don't know, maybe I do need another character to add to the game. I mean, I don't want to spend the whole campaign failing. Well, I mean, I might get to death 10 and then just get told to, stop. What, how long do you think it'll take us before this character dies? I mean, I don't know. Is the intention for you to read the... Because my sort of intention... Or, not my intention. My assumption on the... my assumption for the... character generation is that you play role player like you're intended to play role player, i.e. as a competitive game. And then what you do is once you're done playing a competitive game of roleplay, you import those characters, and they are reasonably well adjusted to functioning in this game. Yeah, Haggers, I'm surprised well, we've died twice, but at least we're not permanently dead. Apparently the gods took pity on us and gave us the Fiend of Ineptitude because we're so bad. But the thing is, looking over the pre-made characters, we started with 2 item cards, less than one of your standard pre-made characters. We started with a skill distribution of 8, which is exactly the same as a pre-made character. And we started with just 1 gold, where I should have 7, and 2 experience points, where I should have 0. Now, my second death caused me to lose 4 of these, although it could have caused me to lose all of them. Well, except for 1. So I guess the fact that I got to keep 5 is lucky, but also you could quite easily come out of this with 5 XP. So, I don't know if you could have got more gold if I played differently or made different choices. Well, actually, I know you could get 4 gold just for killing the ogre, because he's got 4 gold on his dice. So I'm kind of worried that this is going to become a sort of a snowball of unreconcilable situations, because these are one-offs, right? I'm pretty sure this little X means use it once and then get rid of it. Yeah, it's returned to the deck when it's played. So these are returned to the deck, and then they're gone. So they're not going to really help me. They're going to help me do 2 things, and then they're going to be done with. Oh, this is double-sided. I guess that's number 2 on the other side. So that's kind of a problem, right? Because things are going to get harder and harder and harder, and if I'm not getting gold because I keep dying, and I'm not getting XP because I keep dying, and I can't afford any more items, I'm just going to get, it's going to become insurmountable. So how long before that happens? Because, yeah, Difter, it's good to be a Bastion, 9 lives and all that. I'm going to need them all. Because I actually really liked everything else. I liked the narrative-driven stuff. I like the little passages. I like the choices. In theory, I like the combat and the skill checks as well. I like the idea of how the dice fit in with the characteristics on the board here. I like how you have to sort of spend these, and then you can take the opportunity to rest infrequently to get them back. And I really like how all the items are basically just different forms of dice manipulation to affect these. The problem is, I just didn't feel like I got to do any of that, really. I felt like all I got to do is basically spend all of this and then hope to get lucky, you know? And I think that even if I'd kept the necessary dice to play against the ogre, the big problem is each die only has a 1 in 6 chance of rolling what I need. And against the ogre, the only dice manipulation I have is climb for the green die. So the blue die and the white die and the red die would have all been just a 1 in 6 chance, which is actually means I have a 1 in 36 chance of beating that ogre, which I can't influence if I fight him in combat. And he does so much damage, and you don't get the rewards if... oh, you do get the rewards at the end of combat. Actually, you get the rewards at the end of both. Interesting. I actually have done this incorrectly. So, I should have played out the remaining rounds of combat and added fatigue. This is weird. Okay. So basically, because I cut the 2 combats I played short against both enemies in order to... because I died, I actually have missed out on opportunities to get rewards. Essentially, I should have played out all 3 rounds, no matter how much fatigue I took, and then I just stop adding fatigue once it's full, once it reaches 16, and then I actually don't worry about death until I reach it in the storybook, which is a really odd system. I guess it works for the way they've balanced the game. I don't think it would have made much of a difference at all to my playthrough. But for what it's worth, we can see if we can get some gold off of Tog before we kill him. But I don't think it would have mattered, really. The first roll had no green dice in it anyway, and the blue and red dice didn't match up, because that was exactly the roll. I just picked it up. So we could have had 2 more rolls against him, but the second round we would have lost an experience point, which was before I died, so it wouldn't have made a difference. I would have still wound up with 5 experience points anyway. I would have lost one of the bunch I then lost. Oh. Well, that's... oh wait, why have I just rolled the same 3 dice? I need to draw 3 different dice. So, basically I need red and green dice if I'm going to get any money. Hang on. I don't know why I can't draw the right number of dice out this bag for some reason. Well, that's... red 5? Nope. So they all go back in the bag and we go again. I mean, I guess that the Book of Death did give me 1 extra combat die, although... What have we got here? We've got a green one and a red one. So 5 and 6, or a 1 on the green one. Nope. So it doesn't matter. This would have changed nothing if we'd finished the combat. Because we can't manipulate these dice. We can manipulate the green one, but can only turn it into a 3. So, this is how we end up. And... yeah, I don't know. Because like I said, I really like the idea of playing this game with dice in theory. But I think Lukash is right. Like, I think we need to... I think we need more characters with more cards in order to manipulate dice. Because imagine if we had access to 24 cards if we were 3 players. And we'd also have so much more opportunity about how to roll out fatigue as well. Like, we could, you know... So, I don't know. It feels like... this scaling down to 1 player feels quite limiting, actually. Where when I read the rulebook, I thought that actually the scaling up of players, because the scaling up of the number of players actually felt a bit like it wasn't giving them enough to do. But I've changed my mind entirely now. I think actually they've got plenty to do, which is to use their items. So I'm going to mark these off because these aren't going to change right now. So we're still on 0, and we're on 1 here, because I'm just going to knock them in my hand and forget where they were otherwise. Okay. So now we're going to go into the improvements, and I don't think we're going to be able to get anything for 2 gold, but here we go. We do get a discount based on our stats, so at least there's that. And we go over here and then bring this up so you guys can see the marketplace I'm creating here. So we're going to basically get out a bunch of these decks, and then I'm going to shuffle them all and reveal 5 cards for each. And then that's going to be the cards we can buy, although I don't even know... Is there anything for 2? I mean, I don't think there's anything for 2 in this deck. No, there's not, so we can skip this deck. We can skip the armor deck, there's nothing in there for 2. Sorry guys, I don't want to waste your time going through this whole process if there's no cards I can afford. Alright, so now I'm looking at skills. Some of them give you discounts. So for example, you can see here on the climb card I have here that it costs 8 gold, but minus whatever your constitution is. So I could have paid 7 for this. I don't think I'm going to be able to afford anything. All of these seem really expensive. And I don't have very high stats in anything. Like, no, these are all so expensive. The skills seem really expensive. I mean, and if I'd known all of this going into Roleplayer on Tuesday with Chris, I could definitely have rigged this massively in my favor, and that might have mitigated somewhat the issues I'm having. Like, you know, I would definitely have focused a lot more on buying cards instead of fighting minions, because the fighting the minions in my game with Chris didn't really do much for me. It got me a bunch of experience, which I then spent to get a bunch of points that didn't even really actually didn't massively affect the outcome of the game for me. Like it, and that's kind of, I think, a problem with this import system that I'm sort of thinking about now, because basically the role player is a competitive game, and by playing competitively in my game with Chris, I can't afford any traits either. By playing competitively in my game with Chris, I have actually really sabotaged myself in this game. Oh, Difter, no, I don't mean to be salty. And if it comes across like I'm being bitter, I really don't intend it to sort of come across that way. I'm more than happy to lose the game. That's not necessarily my problem. I just also want to feel like I'm playing it. You know, playing it in a way where there's a sort of a chance of success, you know. No, I know you're just poking fun at me, and I'm more than happy to sort of keep a positive mental attitude and soldier on, But at the back of my mind, I'm concerned if one player is already a lot harder, which it seems to be, and now we're going in with a character that's also underpowered, that's bad. I also I just don't like the fact that this importing mechanism, which I feel is really exciting and kind of like a really cool part of this, it's like, go back to our game, which is thematically based around building characters, and build a character to bring into this game. Awesome, cool, like that. I feel like the moves I made in the role player game in order to win the game of role player are now the same moves that are costing me my efficacy in this game, which seems like fundamentally bad, right? Like, surely the moves that make role player, like, surely, you know, the moves that make you win at role player should also start you off doing better in this game. Like, if you do really well in role player, you do really well in this game, right? But I'm looking back at role player and I'm like, I should have bought more traits, I should have bought more skills, I should have bought more items, but traits and skills particularly, I definitely shouldn't have worried about that final endgame boss fight, because those 8 victory points I got from that boss fight have done absolutely nothing to help me in this game, because they're within the bracket of my final score for my hit points. I would have had 16 hit points, regardless of whether I defeated that endgame boss or not. And all the experience points I spent in the fight against that endgame boss would have been way more useful to bring into this game, although I would have lost them all anyway. So really, I should have used those points to trigger the actions on the player board that would have allowed me to slightly modify the statistic rows, because I could have spent 10 experience points to adjust these 2 stat dice, a stat die in both of these rolls by 1, which would have upped these stats to 2. So I would have had 1 additional Constitution and 1 additional Wisdom for no actual loss. Now, it would have been a big loss in the... It would have been an 8-point loss to my score in role player, which would have put me on 27 to Chris's 35, but it would have meant a big increase in my power here at no actual cost to the power level of this character. And that's kind of my problem, right? Like, that so, you know, it's like, am I expected to read the rules for importing a character and then go back to role player and try to play an optimum game of role player, which seems kind of silly, right? I don't want to claim I've done it intentionally, Difter. Like I say, I don't mind that this is how it's worked out. You know, my whole thing is presenting these games in a way where I'm presenting the game as it's designed, as it's intended to be played, you know? Like, I follow the instructions from the designers. That's why I don't house rule anything on the channel, typically, you know? Because, like, I can house rule stuff all I want in real life. Now, don't get me wrong. Chris and I were definitely debating the Grim rule in the last game of Bloodborne we live streamed, and to an extent, you could argue that what we did was a house rule. Although I do agree with Chris's interpretation as well, that, you know, if we're constantly trying to plan out exactly what we want to do, and, you know, I'm not going to go into that, because we talked about it enough on that live stream. The point is, there was some interpretation there, and we interpreted it the way we wanted to, but there was room for interpretation there. Here, there's no room for interpretation. We're following the rules and the instructions exactly as they're laid out by the designers, and now I feel like I'm going to have a really hard time in this campaign as a result, despite the fact that I was trying to do my best. And so anyway, let's I'm going to press on with the game as intended and just see what happens. So we can visit the Adventurers Guild in order to spend experience points to improve our character. So we can increase our health by 1 per 1 point of experience. We can spend 5 experience, well, 9 actually, 5 plus the we can always spend 5 plus our current combat dice limit to increase the combat die limit by 1. We can increase our bonus play limit for 6. Or we can increase the mastery track. So we spend 3 experience points. And then we increase an attribute score. Yeah, I think I want to do that. So I'm going to actually tick off this 3 here. And spend... sorry guys, let me... I put this out for the market, and then there's no point in building the market because I couldn't afford anything. So what I've done is I've spent 3 experience points, and I've ticked this off, which lets me put up one of my stats. And what I'm going to do here is I'm going to put up my my charisma, I think, because that's the other thing I'm good at manipulating. So I want to at least make sure that I have some dice there. I'd like to put up something else as well, but we'll have to wait because I can't afford to do another one yet. And also the fact that the dying makes you roll for your experience seems unusually cruel. Like, I had 9 experience in this mission, and I lost 4 of it when I died, but I could have lost 8 of it, in which case I would have ended with 1 experience point, and that would have been crushing. Like, I couldn't improve anything. That's like a negative feedback loop, right? I'm dying, and now I'm unable to even improve my character to get better. I feel like that feels bad, and I don't know why they've included that. Maybe it's because these cards are good, but I don't think these cards are particularly great because they're one-shots. I mean, they are great. What they do is great, but they're one-offs. You know, so like this is going to help me on 2 checks. I don't know, I did, in that tutorial, I did 3 checks. So I could have used both of these. I could have used this one already, although it was pointless. But I could have used both of these already. It did give me a free combat dice thing, which is worth 8 experience points. So, there's that. I don't know. Do you know, actually, while we're here, let's spend one of these to up our... Do you know, I'm just going to increase my hit points by 2, actually. Put my hit points up by 2. Now that I know how cheap hit points are, I'm actually a little less... Do you know what? Now that I know how cheap it is to improve your hit points in this game, it almost feels like... the final score of your role-player game is even less relevant. Because all that final score in role-player does is adjust how many hit points you start with. And you can only get up to a maximum of 18. And actually, if I'd saved a bunch of experience points, if I'd saved 20 experience points from role-player, and then got through that first adventure here without dying, I could have actually just put my hit points right now like way up to like 27 or 28 or something, which would have been way better than getting a good score in role player. That I feel like they need to say something at the beginning of this rulebook like, warning, if you're using role player to make your character, don't worry about playing role player. You know, just play the game and try to find stuff that you like and try to end up with as much money and experience points as possible, because even though it won't help you with your endgame score at all, it would be massively useful to import into this game and possibly actually break it. Okay, rant over. Sorry about that, guys. I actually did enjoy this. I think that's part of the reason I'm ranting. It's because I enjoyed it, and I kind of wanted it. You know, I also said, like, let's see if we can import a character and see what happens. And now I'm thinking, like, oh, maybe we shouldn't have done that. Maybe I should have just taken one of their pre-made suggestions. Is there anything else to do before we pack up? I think we're done. I think we're just saving the game. Yep, that's it. So, we're all done. I'm going to mark off on the campaign track here that we've done adventure number 1. I'm going to write down our titles here, which are Rogue's Accomplice and Revealer of Secrets. And I think that's all we need to do. I'm going to run out of space in this box. How does... a party keep track of all of their titles in here? And Yep, that's it. So... that's it. And I will be back again to do the next one of these. So everyone loves a good rant. Do they, Hackers? I hope that felt reasonably well mediated. I hope that didn't feel like a rant just for the sake of ranting. It really wasn't. I don't particularly like ranting, if I can help it. But this really felt like sort of like that import feature feels like. What's remarkable is it feels like a lot of thought went into it, and it's fundamentally not right. Like, I feel like rather than having the end game score correlate to do you know what they should have done? They should have done like a D&D 5th edition thing. Where, you know how I was talking about this on Role Player stream with Chris, where in D&D 5th edition, what you get is you get your statistics, and then you can buy statistics of certain values with a currency that you're given. And it's 5th edition's way of sort of balancing character creation, because in earlier editions of D&D you just chuck handfuls of dice, and you could, you know, rarely, but on occasion wind up with one godlike character and one character that was just completely inept. And then people just have to live with that for the duration of the campaign. And, you know, you don't want to be the DM who's like, yeah, you know, Steve, you've rolled 18 in every stat. You're going to have to re-roll some of those, buddy. When Steve's, like, super excited to play his new godlike barbarian. You know, meanwhile, Dave's over there, like, upset because their dark elf has got no stats whatsoever. So I feel like maybe what they should have done was turned your end game score in Role Player into a currency that you could spend, and then allowed you to spend the currency within brackets based on the outcomes. Like, you know, I'm more than happy. You've triggered another rant. I'm more than happy that I've got, you know, these things set out here. So, you know, I'm a savage investigator because I was savage. I started off lawful good because that was my alignment. I've got assassin. I'm a bastia. You know, all of these things here. And the assassin, obviously, only is one ability in this game. But, and it also doesn't seem to have much to do with assassination, but whatever. But obviously these are massively related to this because in Role Player, the class determines how many points you're putting into each of these. And I really dislike how, because all it does here when you're importing your stats for the import is it says if you're within this range of your stats in the final round of Role Player, then here's your starting attribute score, right? And so that meant that because my ranges were often like 14 to 15 or 15, but some of my ranges were 14 to 16, which means that I was literally like 1 point. If I'd gone 16, I would have had a 2 instead of a 1, right? Whereas I feel like what it should say is if your attribute score was within these brackets, then you can reach a maximum of this for your attribute. So here's the currency based on your endgame score to spend on these or something. You know, and you can also spend that currency for health. So you can start off with a lot more health if you like, or you could spend that currency on other things. And then that makes the endgame score, like, way more important. Because like I said, the endgame score only determines your health, and it turns out health costs 1 experience point in this game until you reach 25, and then each point of health costs 2 experience points. But experience points are actually really easy to come by, at least they were in that game. I had like 12 or 13 of them in that game of Monsters and Minions, and in the end I just blew them all because I had nothing better to do with them. And yet they would have been super critical and useful in this game, and I shouldn't have spent them. But again, that doesn't feel like it's in the it doesn't feel like that's in the interests of this. So if those points, if the 8 points I got for defeating the giant troll at the end of Role Player Monsters and Minions could be spent for something useful in this, instead of being rendered completely useless, because if you look again, it's just more brackets for health, right? So here you can see that my score was 35, which is the utmost of this middle bracket, so I had 16 health. -8 puts me on 27, which is the bottom of the same bracket. So those 8 points I got for going in on that final battle had absolutely no consequences, despite the fact that I spent 10 or 12 experience points on it, which was completely pointless in this import, right? And that's my problem. And it's just coincidence that I've just really got bum unlucky with these brackets. But there was definitely a much better way to do this, and I'm really disappointed that this is kind of how it's worked out. But anyway, never mind. We're just going to press on, and hopefully the game will sort itself out, and all will be well. Or we'll die really horribly in Adventure 3, and then we'll see where we go from there. But I did enjoy the story. I'm really interested in the world, and I like the gameplay. I like the mechanisms in theory, and we'll have to see how they play out. You know, I love rolling dice. I love this idea of spending stamina and stats for dice, being able to manipulate the dice pool, being able to further manipulate the dice with items and stuff. So you sort of choose the pool based on whether you're willing to spend fatigue, which is also hit points, and then you can manipulate them with these cards. That's all great, but obviously I seem to have wound up with kind of a bum character, and I'm playing on the hardest player count, apparently, and I don't like how it integrates with Role Player, and I'm really glad I didn't buy Role Player just to roll characters for this game. Because if I wanted to roll a good character for this game, I would have to intentionally lose Role Player, which seems really dumb. Anyway, if you want to catch the next adventure of Role Player Adventures, make sure you subscribe to the channel and turn on your notifications. Thanks everyone so much for watching, and thank you to the Patreons who support this content. Without you guys, I wouldn't be here doing this stuff, and we wouldn't have all the fancy cameras and whatnots, although these narrative games usually wind up just being footage of me reading. You know, thanks so much for all of that. And for helping to support that. It really means the world to me. And I couldn't be here doing what I'm doing without you. So, with that in mind, let's roll the credits. And you all have a wonderful weekend. And I'll be back sometime soon for another stream. Thanks to everyone in chat. I'll see you all really, really soon. I hope you guys had fun. I hope that was fun. I hope that wasn't too not fun. Bye! Sorry I messed up all of the exhaustion stuff with the dying and everything. Sorry I messed all of that up. But now I know how to play. The next one will go way smoother. Or I'll just die a lot more because my character's terrible. Make sure you come back to find out.